so loose. I bit into a
Is this-
pancake. And
Is
it
it
came
on this good? Did you set it up, Billy?
I did.
One less. Sorry. 87. This one's the hardest of the two, even though it's not terribly hard. Okay, the very first part, this kind of goes back to what we learned when we were talking about elephants, tigers, la la la. Remember us talking about that? So when we were doing 3x plus 2x, remember we were saying that x were like elephants? So if I have 3 elephants plus 2 elephants, you have 5 elephants, right? Okay? It's also like saying, let's say I had 3 feet of wood plus 2 feet of wood. I would end up with 5 foot of wood. Okay? 5 feet of wood. All right? So that's the concept. Now, what's going to confuse you the most is this. Now we're learning multiplication with letters. And it's a total different ballgame. Okay? So, what have you known so far for us to do? So like say we have this square, 5 centimeters and 3 centimeters. What do I do when I'm multiplying these?
Squared.
I'm going to make it squared.
It would be 15 centimeters squared.
Okay. Now if I was adding this, I would say 5 plus 3, okay, if I was to add these, and I would get 8 centimeters, right? But when you are multiplying, not only do the numbers multiply, but the units multiply as well. So what this would be is 3 centimeters times 5 centimeters, which would be 15 centimeters squared. Everybody gets that?
Yes.
Okay, that's just a really quick review. Now, what you're going to do is we're not doing centimeters or anything like that. We're going to be doing letters like X, Y, Z, things like that. So, for example, what does it mean when I have parentheses around both of these? It means I'm going to multiply, okay? Now, the cool thing about this is you're going to multiply your numbers, then you're going to multiply your letters, okay? So right now I have 3 times 2 is 6, and x times x is x squared, okay? And that's where I need y'all to really pay attention, that I didn't just leave the x as x. You also have to multiply your units, or in this is just the algebraic terms. So this would be x times x would be x squared. Everybody gets that? Okay, let's go a little bit deeper. All right, here's an example of one. Negative 2x times 3y. Now, problem, okay, because there's not 2 x's and because there's not 2 y's, okay, it's going to be a little bit different. So let's do the very first step. And the very first step is we're going to multiply the numbers. Okay, and what would that give me? Negative 2 times 3. It would give me negative 6. Why is it going to give me negative 6? Because you have different signs. And different signs, okay, is negative answer. Same signs, positive answer. All right? Now, can x and y multiply each other and do anything to it?
No.
Okay, so it's just basically x times y.
Tiger times an elephant.
That's only used for when you're adding.
A elephant.
Okay? Did you hear me? Only use that when you're adding. Okay? This is when we're multiplying, so x times y is just x times y. You just leave it like that. And since those are next to each other, that's basically what that means, is x times y. If you want to, you can actually put a times in there. That's not how the book's answer is going to be. Okay? But that's all you can do with that one. So this would be the answer. All right? So step number 1 is to multiply the numbers, and then step number 2 is to multiply the letters. Now, when things like this is where you're really going to have to really pay attention. Negative 3x squared y multiplied by 2x multiplied by negative 4xy. Do not let this freak you out. Okay, it's a lot of letters, a lot of numbers, okay? But our very first step is to multiply the numbers, okay? So let's do that. I have negative 3 times 2 times negative 4. Does everybody see how I just took the numbers away from the problem? Negative 3, 2, and negative 4. Okay? So, What is negative 3 times 2? Negative 6. And negative 6 times negative 4?
Positive 24.
Positive, because you have the same sign, so the answer is going to be positive. And 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, so far the answer to this problem is 24. That's all we've got so far, 24. Okay, that's part of my answer. Now, the second step that I want you to start doing, so step number 1 is to multiply your numbers. Step number 2 is to expand the letters. Okay, so I want you to see what I do. I'm going to go, that's step number 1. Step number 2, expand the letters. So I've got x, y times x times x, y. Does everybody see how I did that? X, because there's 2 of them, y times another x times another x, and then a y. Okay? So if we were to multiply x times x times x times x, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, what's that going to give me? X to the 4th power. Everybody understand that? Because not only do the units multiply, but so do our letters when you're multiplying. When you're adding, it doesn't do that. You have to see them as elephants, zebras, all those things. Remember that? Okay? And then, I'm done with my x's, and now we have 1y, 2 y's. So what would I put? Y squared times y squared. If you want to put a times right there, you can. If that helps you, go for it. So now once I put it all together, the final answer is 24 x 4 to the 4th power y squared.
Well, there's only 3 x's.
Nope. 2 x's here, 1 x, 3, 4. Here's the difference. I know what you're doing. When we were adding, remember how we had it when we were adding them, x, y was a different animal. Remember that? And x was a different animal, and then x squared y would be a different animal. Here with multiplying, you have to see everything not as animals, okay? So that's kind of be where you're going to get mixed up. But really pay attention if it's adding something or if you're multiplying something. If you're multiplying something, you're just going to double it or triple it or quadruple it, whatever. Okay, there are 1, 2 x's, 3 x's, 4 x's. So it's x to the 4th power. There are 1 y, 2 y's, y to the 2nd power. Get it? Let's do a few more just to make sure you're getting it.
Let's go.
Okay. Alright, this one tells me to simplify. Negative 2, and instead of using x and y, they're going to do AB this time. No big deal. Still the same kind of thing. A squared b times 3b cubed. Okay. Now, does anybody remember when we were talking about algebraic equations? What should I put here if there's no letter? A 1. Very good. So I would do that. Okay, so you don't have to. It's not a big deal. Still going to get the same answer if you don't put a 1, okay? But it just helps my brain. It may help yours. I don't know. Okay, so step number 1 is to multiply the numbers. Okay, so negative 2 times 1 times 3, right? This times this times this. And I would get negative 2 times 3, which is going to give me a negative 6. Everybody agree? Okay, so the answer so far is a negative 6 with step number 1. That's step number 1. Step number 2, what do? Expand it. Okay? I have an A, a B, then I've got double 2 A's right here, and a B, and then I have 3 B's. Okay, so all I've done is just expanded 1 A right here, a B here, 2 A's, 1, 2, B right here, and then 3 B's. All I did is expand it. Now just bring all the like letters together. I have 1 A, 2 A's, 3 A's. So it's going to be A to the third power because we're multiplying. A times A times A, which will give us A cubed. Then our B's, 1B, 2B's, 3B's, 4B's, 5B's. B to the fifth power. Okay? And then you bring it all together. My final answer would be -6, A to the third, B to the fifth. We get it?
Yep.
Yep. Everybody understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.